Hey guys, Willie Meyer from JAZZEDGE. Welcome to Jazz Piano Daily, lesson number 3. Today we're going to be talking about jazz dominant 7th chords. Remember, Jazz Piano Daily is daily, no BS jazz piano lessons you learn by doing. If you want to learn more, be sure to subscribe and like the video. And also, if you're looking for the sheet music, just go ahead and take a look at the description or go back to Jazz Piano Daily for that. All right, today, dominant 7th chords. We're going to spend a little bit more time on this one because it's a little bit more tricky. All right, so here's my basic E flat dominant 7th chord. Root 3, 5, 7. Again, I could think of this as the root, the 3rd, the 5th, and the flatted 7th off of my major scale. So there's my basic dominant 7th chord. Again, just like we did in the major and in the minor, to create our rootless chord voicing, we start first of all with those guide tones. Remember, the guide tones are that 3rd and the 7th of the chord, all right? So 3rd and 7th of the chord is our guide tones. 3 and 7, we can start with that, pinky, 2nd finger, and then right over here you see that I'm also adding in the 13th and the 9th. So let's pause for 1 second. What is the one tension that is common between majors, minors, and dominants? So what's the one tension? Is it the 13th, right? Or is it the 9th that's in common between those 3 chords? Now, if you watched my lesson number 1, Jazz Piano Daily number 1 and Jazz Piano Daily number 2, you should already know that the what? The 9th is common in between the major, the minor, and the dominant 7th chord. So that means that if you were to play just the guide tones and the 9th of the chord, so guide tones and the 9th of the chord, guess what? You got a real nice chord sound going on there. In fact, this is what I call a 3-note rootless chord voicing. If I put an E flat down there, you can hear that's a real nice sound. Well, we kind of sweeten it and create a little bit more attention by adding in that 13th. One easy way of knowing where the 13th is, it's always a half step below the flatted 7th, okay? So your 13th is right there. We might also think of 13 as 6. There's reasons why we call it 13 versus 6, and that really has to do with whether or not it's replacing a chord tone or if it's being added as a tension. In this case, we're not replacing the 7th. We're adding this on as a tension, so therefore we call it the 13th. On the 9th, we're not replacing the 3rd or the root, so we don't call it 2. Instead, we call it 9. It is being added in addition to. All right, so there is our first form, our A form with the 3, 13, flat 7, 9 for E flat 7. The B form, I could play it up here, or I can also play it down here. That has the 7th and the 3rd. Let's start with those first, 7th and the 3rd, and then I bring in the 9 there and the 13. Remember how I said on the majors and the minors, we start with the guide tones first. There's always going to be one note that's in between the guide tones. And when I say in between, I mean higher than that note, lower than that note. So it has to be either that one, that one, that one, that one, or that one. It has to be one of these notes that are going to be in there. And we know it's going to be the 9th, so we add in that 9. And then there's always going to be one note above. And in that case, we add in the 13. Little sidebar on this, if it feels kind of weird to play these chords, make sure that you are getting your fingers deeper in the key bed. If you have any issues with technique at the piano, please take a look at my piano tension and pain, tension, and technique lesson back at JAZZEDGE. Super important lesson talking about the grab technique and really making sure that you don't hurt yourself while playing jazz piano. All right, so there is my B form for my E flat 7. Again, there's A form and there's B form. Now, let's get into some fun here. Now we're going to start to fill this out a little bit more. We've already done this right here, right? We've already done this part in the Jazz Piano Daily number 1. We did the minor 7 chord in the lesson number 2. Now we're going to add on this E flat 7. So let me play the whole thing for you. Right? And then we're going to go to A flat next, right? We'll talk about that in the next lesson. But that E flat 7, right? So hit the E flats, come up to your E flat 7 chord. Again, the notes there, D, D flat, F, G, and C, all right? Let's do the whole thing again. Okay. One more time. All right, so that now you know major, minor, dominant seventh, rootless chord voicings. Now, the reality is it takes a while to learn these rootless chords, okay? So it's not going to just be a simple two-step process and in 5 minutes you're going to know all your rootless chords. No, it does take a while and it does take practice. If you want more information, you're interested in that, then definitely take a look at my Piano Essentials, Standards by the Dozen, and the Confident Improviser programs back at JAZZEDGE. But now you have all the raw materials to create those 3 types of rootless chords. I can't stress enough how important those rootless chords are in jazz. So if you really want to learn jazz piano, get down those 3 chords. I'm going to do them in the key of C for you. We've done them in E flat, okay, and we've done it in B flat. Let me do all of them in the key of C for you. Once again, as a review, there would be C major 7th. There is your C major 7th rootless chord voicing A form. There's your C major 7th rootless chord voicing B form. Here's C minor 7th, block chord. This is your C minor 7th, rootless chord voicing A form. C minor 7th, rootless chord voicing B form. There's C dominant 7th, block chord. There's your C7, rootless chord voicing A form. And again, your B form. And just real quickly, like I said, don't get attached to A form, B form. Just basically, it's 2 different forms. That's form 1, form 2. Some people might call that B, some people call it the A form. Really doesn't matter if you call it A or B. The main thing to note is that the 3rd is on the bottom there, 7th is on the bottom on that voicing. For the major, 3rd is on the bottom, 7th is on the bottom. For the minor, 3rd is on the bottom, 7th is on the bottom. So one of them has the 3rd as the bottom note, the other one has the 7th as a bottom note. All right, so if you would like to get more of these lessons, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and turn on the notifications. If you would like to request a lesson or you have questions, please leave a comment below the video. Also check out Jazz Piano Daily, and that's where you can download all of the sheet music for these lessons. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you guys in the next lesson.